Something that I noticed pretty obviously lately, like very obvious, my boldness has increased about a millionfold. It feels like I'm way more bold. I am in everything I do. I'm bold. I am. I don't know how God did that. I don't know. I don't know. Somehow, I don't know how God made me more bold. I don't know how He did it, but somehow He did it. He made me more bold, more confident. No joke. Maybe even bold enough to, I don't know, maybe approach a beautiful woman and actually be serious about dating her. No joke. I'm feeling that bold. That's a serious statement. I'm that bold. I'm looking for my Eve boldly, starting to. God knows I'm still trying to decide who I want to be my Eve to make Timmy. But that's not the point. God, God still wants me to be focused on the purpose, even still above that. He does. I think me having a wife and kid Timmy is just a bonus. I do. I felt that the whole time. It's just a bonus to the purpose God wants me to do. Having a wife and kid is just a bonus. The main thing is God's purpose for me. That's the main thing. It is. And I don't know why I did that, but the truth of the matter is, somehow God made me more bold. He has. Usually, I'm not this bold, and but He's made me more bold somehow. He has. He's accelerated things or something. He has. Because I want to do this. I want to do this purpose. I did. So He's making me more bold. My boldness comes from this, and it's true, and I realized it today. God has been consistent. He has in backing me up. He's been consistent. If someone can be that consistent backing you up, like God is backing me up, it makes you more bold. I just hit the nail on the head right there. It's true. If you believe that God will always back you up, always, 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 everything will work out always, like He has, it's been consistent. You can go off the consistency of God and know that He'll still back you up. That makes you bold. It does. It's making me bold. It is. 100%. If God backs you up 100%, no, and you can see it. God's backing you up 100%. Everything works out somehow every time. It makes you more bold. It does. 100%. I'm so bold that if I had to carry a cross, my cross that I was going to get nailed to right now, I'd probably do it. I'm that bold. I'm that crazy right now. For God, I am. Like, if I had to do that, I'll do it. If that's what humanity needs. Luckily, that's already been done. Luckily. No joke. But something key that was told to me yesterday. Anything I'm told to is from God. It is. God saw the life of Jesus. Exactly. So He knows how things went down. Think about that. God knows how it played out for Jesus. Exactly. So when something comes from God about what Jesus went through, you know it happened exactly like that. And this is what He told me, and I think I needed to hear it. I did. I did. I did. Because stuff like this is important to motivate me to keep going. It is. Because in my opinion, no man, no sane man in my position would keep going. No sane man, they'd be like, I quit. No joke. And that's why what this was told me is key. God knows the exact condition I'm in. The exact. He knows it's a real fight to keep going. It is. It is. And that's why he told me this key thing. He said, when Jesus was getting whipped with those brutal whips with the hooks on them that ripped the flesh off, when Jesus was getting whipped, I've never really talked about this. Part of this part of this part of Jesus's road. I've mainly talked about other things about Jesus' road, like suffering in Gethsemane, you know, that kind of thing. But I've never talked about the whipping. Because even this was key. By his stripes we are healed. This is what it's talking about. The whipping. No joke. And I know I'm right. I know I'm right about this. When they say by his stripes we are healed, it's not talking about his suffering in Gethsemane or the nail being nailed to the cross. It's when he was being whipped with those whips with the hooks on them. With his stripes we are healed. I'm pretty sure about this. Any ailment you have when he was getting whipped, there's a connection between anything you're going through and when he was being whipped. I think I'm right about this. There's a connection. Whatever issue you're struggling with, whatever it may be, the whipping that Jesus took covers that in some way. It helps that in some way. That's why they say by his stripes you are healed, no matter what you're going through. So there may be some truth to that. I've read that healing scripture before. By his stripes we are healed. I don't know if it did anything or not, but Marvin told me to read it for some reason. And it got brought up to me again last night. His stripes we are healed. But I never talked about the whipping of Jesus. And there was a detail that the Christian told me. On purpose. She said, she actually told me something I didn't know about the whipping. That probably is true. That probably is true. Probably. Because everything she was saying to me, it felt like God was talking to me. It felt like it, for sure. So this may be true. When Jesus was getting whipped, got whipped so bad he fell to the ground. This is key. I know this is true. Otherwise, I wouldn't be getting emotional right now. I know this is true. When he got whipped and fell, he got whipped so badly he fell to the ground. This is key. The Roman said, "Do you give up?" To Jesus. I know this is true. It's a detail I didn't know about, that God knows about. And he knew it would get my attention. For sure. For sure. Because God knows I've been in that position in life a lot. Getting whipped to the ground. To the point I want to give up. But I keep going, you know. That's why it's key. The Romans said, "Do you give up?" To Jesus, "Do you give up?" He stood back up. And they started whipping him again. I don't know how many times this happened, but it feels like it happened over and over and over and over. And I think I'm right about this. They kept whipping him with those hook whips. With those hook whips. Until he fell to the ground. And each time he fell to the ground, they said, "Do you give up?" And he kept on standing up. And God wanted me to know that Jesus did not give up. Through it all. Through all of it. All of it. He did not give up. And God knows I haven't given up. I want to, but I haven't. I think that's why God wanted me to hear that. Because God knows He's watched me. He's watched me all the way to this point. He knows how hard I've fought to not give up, keep getting back up, basically, and not knowing why. Why am I keeping on going? I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's a reward for any of it, it doesn't seem like. But for some reason, he wanted to remind me. That Jesus was in that same position or something. It does feel like I got whipped with Jesus. It feels like it. So I feel like it's true. Because God knows, anybody else in my position would have given up a long time ago. They would have. That's why I needed to hear that Jesus didn't give up. He kept going till the mission was completed. He did the Father's will. It was done. And God wanted me to hear that. That when the Roman soldier said to you, give up, he didn't give up. He kept standing up. So, I don't know why this video went to this. I don't know. But for some reason, this video went to the whippings of Jesus. For some reason. So I feel like it's important for me. It may be important for you to keep getting back up when it seems impossible. And it does seem impossible. This whole road of mine has been impossible. In my opinion, it's been impossible. That's what I was reminded the other day, that in the words impossible, I am impossible. I am possible. I am possible. And the great I am is Jesus. He is the I am possible. And God wanted me to hear that as well. He's the great I am. He's the great I am possible. But God knows this whole road is so impossible that I don't even think Jesus could do this road with me. Not even that. That's how impossible it's been the whole way. And he wanted me to hear that Jesus did not give up. He did. When he was whipped, flesh torn off his back, all that. He fell to the ground. The Romans said to you, give up. And he kept getting back up. I don't know how many times this happened, that he kept getting back up. Only God knows. Maybe it was a lot. Jesus kept getting back up. I don't know. But I feel like it's true that it happened. I do. They kept asking him, do you give up? Do you stay down? Basically, do you tap out? And Jesus kept getting back up. God wanted me to hear that. No joke. Because he knows, like, nothing any man on this planet has impressed me. But if what Jesus went through was legit all the way through, like I think it is, I think it's legit all the way through. It seems like it so far. That's incredible, not giving up. Incredible to me. His giving up actually meant something. No, his not giving up, actually meant something. And it does feel like I'm such a part of the body, of his body. It does feel like I understand the whippings. I feel the whippings that he got. I feel it. No joke. It's like the whippings that he took is still a part of his body, which is me as well. His whippings are a part of me. That's why I can feel it. As if it happened to me. As if I was getting whipped. Or something. I don't know. But for some reason, God wanted me to hear that. Because God knows how hard this road has been. It has been. It's been so hard to not give up. It has been. All I have to go off of is the consistency that God has been. He's backed me up. I go off that. And the fact that God cannot lie as well. I go off that to keep going on this impossible road. And plus I have to believe that the legitimacy of Jesus, 100%. The legitimacy of Jesus, 100%. No joke. No joke. That he'll be loyal all the way through. So far, he's been loyal. But whatever he's been doing with me lately, it's been making me more bold. And that's what I want to say. My boldness has increased. It has. I'm not as fearful. I'm not as fearful as I usually am. I'm not. I used to be more fearful. God knows it. Like some of the people in the Bible were fearful at first. I am too. God knows I'm a scared kid. On the inside I am. A scared kid trying to do God's will. No joke. Trying to stay afloat and do God's will. I'm a scared kid that never grew up. No joke. I'm like Rufio of the Lost Boys. But anyways, I just wanted to make a video about that because I think I was told that for a reason. The whippings of Jesus. It's something I never talked about really. Not really. Not in this detail. Not really. But God wanted me to know that that part of his, that part of Jesus' road is important. The whippings. And I never really thought about that. The whippings were important. And that's why that scripture's about the stripes we are healed, the whipping. It's important. That part of Jesus' road, the whippings. There's some importance to that. And not giving up. That as well. An importance to that as well. Getting brutally tortured and not giving up. No joke. Kept standing up. Only God knows how many times this happened. He got whipped to the ground. As they say, beaten to the ground. And God knows I know how that goes. To feel beaten to the ground. Whipped to the ground. I know how that feels. I do. And God wanted me to know that even though Jesus was whipped to the ground, you know, in the worst torturing of all time, the worst whippings of all time, with hooks, he kept getting back up anyways. And God wanted me to know that. Like a true warrior, he kept getting back up. True leader of us all. An example for us all. To never give up when the odds are stacked against you. That's what God was trying to tell me. That's exactly what God was trying to tell me. Because the odds have been stacked against me my whole life. The odds have been stacked against me my whole life, and God knows it. And to not give up despite the odds being stacked against you. That's what God was trying. That's exactly what God was trying to tell me. Exactly. Exactly. And that's a Dragon Ball Z thing as well. It is. It is. That's a Dragon Ball Z thing. Not to give up when the odds are stacked against you. That's totally Dragon Ball Z. I told you God would bring in Dragon Ball Z and all this. Somehow. That's a Dragon Ball Z thing. To not give up when the odds are stacked against you. And Jesus wanted me to know that. Or God did. You know? Jesus could have given up completely. He could have given up completely. He could have. He could have given up completely. Tapped out, said, I'm not doing it, God. He could have said, I'm not doing this, God. I'm done. But he didn't. He didn't. He kept persevering to the end till it was finished. He completed it. He could have given up before he completed it, but he didn't. And God wanted me to know that. He kept going when the odds were stacked against him. Whipped to the ground over and over and over. And he kept getting back up. I'm not sure what this video wasn't supposed to go towards the whippings of Jesus, but for some reason it did. I'm not sure why. Only God knows why. But for some reason it went this direction to talk about the whippings of Jesus. That's what he wants me to talk about right now for some reason. Because it's important. Especially for me. Because it's a detail I didn't know. I knew he got whipped. I knew that. I knew that detail. But the key detail that I did not know was the Romans mocking him and saying, "Do you give up? Do you give up?" I didn't know that detail. I didn't. But God did. And he knew that Jesus kept getting up. That detail, I did not know. I didn't. I just thought he got whipped and that's it. I didn't know they whipped him to the ground. They said, "Do you give up?" I didn't know that detail. But he kept getting up. I didn't know that detail, and God knows. It's a very important thing to me. Because the legitimacy of Jesus in every way is important to me. It is. God knows it. Above anything. Above anything. No one else impresses me. But if what Jesus did, he really did. He really did all the way through, the whole way. And he completed the mission like I think he did. It seems like he's completed the mission. If I'm alive still, then that part of his road is true. That part. Yeah. The whippings. Yeah. The part that I've never really talked about this part of his life. Nope. But God wanted me to know the importance of it for many reasons. Many reasons. But anyways, that's all I want to say for this video.